Welcome to the Author to Authority podcast. And today, if you are interested in taking your business to the next level, then you are definitely going to want to listen to the entire podcast, because today I have on the show Jessica Yarbrough, and she has quickly developed a reputation of being one of the best business strategists and marketing and sales consultants for entrepreneurs who want to sell high-value products and services. And, her background is in international business, and she has built many companies. She's a genius at showing entrepreneurs how to build an expert platform. Of course, obviously, you're on the Author to Authority podcast, and rapidly raise your value, build your credibility online, and attract high-paying clients. And who of us does not want all of that in our business? And she travels the world teaching, inspiring entrepreneurs, and helping them grow their influence and make the income and impact that they desire. So welcome to the show, Jessica. It's great to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me.
So Jessica, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, share a bit of your story, and maybe even a little bit more of your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, well, my background, it was in business and marketing. I built several startup companies. I took a little break for about 4 years to pursue some dreams of traveling, go on kind of a spiritual journey, backpacking around the world. Came home, ended up pregnant with my daughter, who is now almost 6 years old. And was like, wow, okay, I got to get back to making money and not just traveling.
Children are not cheap.
They're not cheap, but also, you just want, like, you have this sense of responsibility that comes, and I wanted the best for her, and I dove back into getting whatever, consulting work I could get. I didn't want to get a job. I wanted to do life on my terms. It was definitely some of the hardest years of my life, raising a child on my own and being the sole provider. But I really held the vision of what I wanted to create. And it's been an amazing journey to then be on the other side and realize all of those things. And, my journey with teaching others just was born because so many people were saying, how did you do this? How are you taking your daughter to, 5 countries and, running this international business, and can you teach us? And so that's when I started teaching people what I've learned, which was how to build that expert platform and work with the clients you want to serve at the highest level.
So has it been a transition for you now that your daughter's home all the time?
Well, I'm a little bit spoiled, only because part of my journey, and it was on my list for several years, was that I wanted to have a live-in nanny. And, as a mom who was the sole parent, so the mother, the father, the teacher, the friend, like I was the everything, my biggest thing that I wanted was someone to come in and be that extra co-parent, if you will, and also to help with kind of the cooking, because I'm busy. And what does a mom do? She works all day, and then she cooks, and she's got to clean up that mess, and then she's exhausted. So we had Ruby join our family in August of last year, and she really is like my companion and friend. And so she actually was able, thank goodness I had her, to take over the part of the homeschooling efforts, which we're now doing since my daughter is schools are closed.
Yeah. And I've just been asking a lot of parents this. How is your children adjusting to this? Because it must not be easy for them.
Well, she actually was more adaptable than I thought, and flexible. I think after about a month, she really missed other children. So she's not short of attention. Like, we have everything that you could possibly want, and she has people who are devoted and love her. But children need other children. Yes. And that part of their development is really key. Sometimes I think more than books. I mean, she knows how to read, and she's very smart. But the things that they learn in their social interactions and their imagination, that is just so incredible at that age, she's definitely been missing out on those aspects of it. So hopefully we can, open schools in the fall and get back to some sense of normalcy, because I know she really does miss that.
Yeah, I hope so too. I just really hope that people will actually do what they're told, because where I live anyway, this weekend, I guess they opened up a couple of parks and everybody crowded into the parks and there was no social distancing. So it's like, seriously, you couldn't
Yeah.
just give it a couple of more weeks so we could flatten the curve out more. I get it. Like, believe me, I want to be out and about. I want to go see my grandbaby and hug and kiss those little cute little cheeks of his. But yeah, it's been an interesting time. So I know you've come prepared with some really great hints, tips, and advice on, being able to sell those higher ticket items. And, one thing I learned is it doesn't really take that much more to sell a $5,000 package as opposed to a $500 package. And I only have to work with one person as opposed to 10. So maybe you could
Absolutely.
talk about that a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather have one $50,000 client than
Oh,
100
yeah.
paying me 500. It's more energy to manage. So yeah, number one, it's like getting clear on what do you really want. It's so easy to get sucked into building lots of complexity
Mhm.
and upsells, downsells, all the things that we hear and that do work. They're not valid. They do work. It's just pretty exhausting as a business owner. So
Yes.
I take a top-down approach. I go with the highest level clients I want to work with. My business is focused on high ticket. So people come to me when they're coaches, consultants, other service-based providers, and they want to sell 5 and even 6-figure programs. So it's really about quality over quantity.
Mhm.
And it's about understanding who your ideal client is and building that rapport, that relationship equity with them. And the long-term gains from that are very significant than
Mhm.
trying to sell a ton of people into $47 products, for example.
Yes. Yes. And I think there's a perception out there that it's really hard to find people to sell those types of packages too, but it's not, is it?
No, and one of the things is that I shifted from, and I've certainly worked with a lot of beginners, but I don't work with beginners anymore.
Mhm.
And I have current clients that that are my students that I will refer those people to. I prefer to work with established business owners who already have like some understanding. They've already proven that they can make money. There's less mindset work that I have to do. The mindset work that we really have to do is around 4 to 10xing their prices, which is one
Mhm.
of the first things I do. Um, but they have a baseline, and it's just easier. It's easier to go in and help them grow from $250,000 to $500,000 or 750 than it is to take someone from zero to their first 100K. So you need to first look like who's your ideal client and understand that the more revenue a company has, the higher threshold income that an individual has, the more discretionary income or funds they have set aside to invest. So absolutely, if you're marketing to people who are making 50,000 a year and they only have 15,000 left over after they pay expenses and taxes and everything, then to sell them a $10,000 program is going to be more of a stretch. But if
Yes.
you go in there with someone who's like already making $250,000 and you say, listen, it's going to be 25,000 and we're going to work together to 4x that in the next 90 days, it's a different story. And they have more of a growth mindset. They're used to investing. They understand that the risk reward, they understand that they need to take action. So if you're marketing to people that can't afford your services, market to people who can.
Mhm.
Whether that's individuals or companies, I serve clients that work with 7, 8, even 9-figure organizations. So there's people out there, and if you can solve a problem, it's about you connecting with that person and showing them that you have the ability to solve their problem.
And I think you brought up something really important there, and that's that mindset
Mm.
piece of it. Because I remember the first time that I significantly increased the pricing on my packages. And I mean, I was so uncomfortable. I knew I had to do it. I had been working with mentors that telling me, Kim, you're undercharging, you need to charge more. And I remember it took a little bit for me to wrap my brain around it and do it and become comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm. It is tough. Everybody goes through it. And I think the first time you raise it, you feel really uncomfortable. But what I always tell people is right now you're operating from a certain reference point. And your reference point is I charge X amount of dollars for X amount of packages or hours or whatever. What you need to do is in your subconscious mind, create a new reference point. And so once you've done it, you've sold that whatever next level package is, it's nothing, and it makes it easier for you to continue to raise your prices. But the first one, and again, that's why I don't like to work with beginners, because there's so much kind of what I feel like pulling teeth to get them to own their value. And I'm at a stage, and who I choose to focus on is not trying to convince people of their value, but rather people who know their value, recognize they're undercharging, but are willing to make the changes necessary to break through that and come out the other side a lot more profitable.
And I think you brought up a really good point. It's not about an exchange of money for a specific thing. It's about the value that you provide. And in many cases, that value, in some ways, is almost priceless. If you've taken 5, 10, 15, 20 years to get to the place where you are now, and, you're not just charging for a specific service, you're charging for your years of expertise, and that's worth something.
Oh man, what I teach my clients is literally saving them $100,000, with not going and making the mistakes that I went through. And so I'm an open book, and really, like anybody that comes into my programs, I peel back the curtain and I show them what I've tested with my own marketing dollars and times, and what works and what doesn't work. And I'm constantly sharing that information, as you should, as the coach, to show them that, hey, like, you don't have to do this. I've done this. It works. In fact, not only does it work, but here's my funnels that I've used. Here's my scripts that it works. And that's what people pay. They're paying for you to collapse time, so they don't have to go through years of pain and frustration and dollars spent on things that didn't work. And they can come in and plug into your system that has worked and you've proven it, and get there further and faster.
Yeah, that always reminds me of the story, or a fact anyway, about Mount Everest, and that there are actually guides who you pay a lot for them, but they've lived on Mount Everest all their life. They know every nook and cranny. They know all the paths. They know what to avoid. They understand the weather on the mountain. They can tell you when it's good to go, when it's time to stop. They take you up routes that nobody even knows, that don't necessarily look safe, but are the safest routes to take. And that's what it always kind of reminds me of, is that when you have someone who's been there, and I think that's why mentorship and coaching is so important, because when someone's already walked the path, they know the pitfalls. And so when you work with them, they're like, I'm going to show you how to get there faster than you ever thought possible.
Yes, absolutely. I was interviewed recently, and I shared this on 2 podcast interviewers asked me what was the biggest mistake I made in my business when I was starting out. And hands down, I said it for both of them: not getting the help I needed to, not hiring the coach, not just saying, here's $5,000, show me how to fix these things, my blind spots. And when I finally took that leap of faith and I invested, it changed my energy, it changed my mindset, it changed my strategy, and I saw immediate gains. And that's how it's been every time. When I make that investment, I execute, and then I see the return. And so if more people can just get to that place sooner, then they're going to be successful and reach the success they desire. So those that invest, I believe, are the ones that always reach the ultimate level of success.
So a question I tend to get asked, because, I don't sell packages quite as high as you are, but, to some people, the packages I sell are quite a bit. And the question I always get asked is, how do you find those people that have that money?
Yeah, well, people can always find the money. People find the money for the things that they want to invest in. Okay. So there's always a way. you need to understand your market and where they're spending time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big believer in LinkedIn. LinkedIn it just, to me, attracts a different caliber of client.
Mm-hmm.
It's not lifestyle focused. It's not Lamborghini or Chanel handbag or anything
Yes.
like Facebook or Instagram, is more focused on. But people are on there to do business. So LinkedIn has been a huge resource for me to getting high-paying clients and connecting with them. Facebook's also been very good for me as well. So where are your ideal clients? How do they like to consume? If you are selling the lifestyle, it's not going to go very well on LinkedIn.
No.
But maybe you can connect with people who really love, like, you showing your garage of Lamborghinis.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably going to be on Facebook or Instagram. So knowing who your market is and what's going to resonate with them, and also what is most resonant with your life. Like, I could care less about a Lamborghini.
Mm-hmm.
What do I love? I love to be able to pick up and travel with my daughter,
Yes.
And so it's like understanding who you are as a person and which platform fits you the best, and then where your ideal clients are and what's going to resonate with them about what you have to say and show, and going to those places.
So true. And I think one thing I've kind of learned about LinkedIn is that, you really want to become that thought leader on LinkedIn. That's how you start to show your credibility, and, by really sharing that value on there, that's attractive to people.
Absolutely. And just reading Russell Brunson's Traffic Secrets, and I just started like taking pictures so I could share it in my group, because everything he was saying in there is what I talk about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
How you have to give value, how you have to show up, and you have to be consistent. And that's what it's about when you're talking about building your credibility or building your authority. Like, you have to teach what you know. Otherwise, you just another marketer trying to sell something.
Yeah.
And when you can show people, like, here is my methodology, I know what I'm talking about, immediately that transference of confidence, which is necessary, especially when you talk about high-end sales, happens. And so part of building your credibility is, yes, teaching what you know, and committing to content production, and also getting out there just like I'm doing right now, and getting out on podcasts. Podcasts have been a huge way for me to find some of my best clients, is by getting out there and sharing your message on other people's platforms.
Yeah. And I think that that's an important concept too, when you're looking to sell, those higher, bigger packages, is that, you have to see yourself as that credible expert and authority, because if you don't, other people won't either.
That's right. Just like if you don't see and own your value, no one else will either. No one's going to give you more money if you don't think you deserve it and you're not willing to ask for it. So it's about the energy. It's about stepping into that energy. It's about also like teaching and saying, I'm going to put in the effort. Like, there is no magic bullet. There is no overnight success. There is no one funnel away. Like, any overnight success story has 5 or 10 years behind it.
Exactly.
Now, that you can't hire a coach and make significant gains in a short amount of time, but you still have to do the work.
Yes.
And I think especially with the business building, wealth creation space, some people, they just don't get that there is a level of commitment and work that goes into everything. And if you want to become a better golfer, you hire a golf coach. It's like, if you want to be better basketball player, you hire a basketball coach. Like, we have people to help us, make us better, and to bring out our greatness, and to show us tools and tricks for becoming better and faster at what we do. And so it's absolutely necessary to have that person in your corner, and it's also necessary for you to execute and do the work.
Yeah, you have to have that consistent action over a period of time to see the results. I don't know if you've ever read Darren Hardy, The Compound Effect.
No, I haven't read it, but I love that, because it's just the name of itself tells you what it is, right?
Yeah, that book just totally, completely changed my mindset. At the time, I was sort of on like more of a weight loss journey, but the lessons that it taught has just helped me really understand my business and how your business grows, and how each one of those incremental steps done over a period of time gain momentum. And then as you gain momentum, as you build that clientele, it comes to the point where it takes on a life of itself, because it's no longer just you doing it. When you have that base of clients that know, love, and trust you, they start bringing you business and they start referring you in. So it does grow, and it does explode sometimes.
Absolutely. I mean, if people want more success, they want to make more money, help other people be successful and make money.
Mm-hmm.
There is no better credibility than social proof.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you can sit there and say, because there's two stages of business. I always tell this for people, especially in the business creation, wealth creation
Mm-hmm.
space. The first stage is, hey, buy my product. Look at the success I've created. I've been able to do this. I. Okay. The second stage is, look at all the success I've helped all these other people create.
Yes.
And so the first stage is where people really struggle. And that's where you've got to work extra hard
Mm-hmm.
at getting your clients results. And one of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make is they're like, I want to scale. I want a 10X or 100X or whatever. And it's like, instead of trying to just focus on getting more clients and make more money, focus on making your program and your process, your method rock solid. I want to see it working. Because when you have that foundation, you can actually scale a business to 7 figures without it breaking. But if you're so focused on, I want more money, more clients, and at a detriment to your current clients and making sure that they actually get the results, it's going to backfire. And I've seen this happen with people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they go and they make all this money, but they didn't actually get their own clients' results. So their year 2 or 3, they just totally fall and fail. And so we want to, of course, be increasing our revenue and our influence and all of that. That should be part of it. But you need to always be looking at your client delivery. Like, is it working? Are they getting results? You'll know they're getting results. Great. Showcase their results. Yes. Continue to refine and grow and leverage their results to grow your own. But don't just grow for the sake of growing or throw $50,000 at Facebook ads to get a bunch of people when your process doesn't work. And that's when people get burned and it hurts your brand reputation. So you want to do everything with integrity and knowing that I don't have to 10X my business this year. Like if you're making 125,000 and the next year you make 300, great. That's awesome. You're awesome. Then work to take yourself to 500, 600, 700,000. But do it with a level of integrity to maintaining a high sense of integrity with your client delivery and your method, always bringing it back to what is the results this is producing for my clients. We are in the business of serving others.
Yeah. And I think it's important to note too, that you do hit a point in your business where you can't do it all on your own.
True.
Like if you think you can build this whole thing on your own and build it big, you do burn out. And when you burn out, you lose all momentum in your business. I got a chance to talk with Michael Tracy, who is Brian Tracy's son. And one of the things he said is you should always be building your business to put yourself out of a job.
That's true. I love it.
It's not that you stop working your business, but you may hit a point where you want to sell your business. But the point is that for your business to be successful, it has to be able to run without you in it. Absolutely. And that's when you have a truly successful business.
Yes. And if you're the one who's operating everything, then it's not going to be attractive to sell it either, because they know that you're the magic sauce. So take yourself out of it. I firmly believe that entrepreneurs and CEOs, to be a real CEO, should drive the vision of the company. Mm-hmm. You should have time to dream and serve your clients. But the operations, the finances, you need to have your pulse on it, but you should not be managing that. The graphic design, social media, all of that. Part of what I do with my clients, especially when they've hit that $250,000, $350,000 mark, is I help them take things off their plate.
Yes.
So that they can focus on the things that are actually going to equate to the biggest growth for them, while taking the mundane, time-sucking tasks off their plate. And that's kind of a journey for an entrepreneur, to take those responsibilities off and allow themselves the freedom and the time to enjoy their success, to dream, to drive the vision forward. But those are what's necessary to actually grow a company.
Well, it's funny. You can equate it to this. You many times, let's say you can pay someone $20 an hour to do something. And it's probably something you really don't enjoy, probably something you're really not good at, but you don't want to pay that $20 an hour. But if you look at, how much you could be earning in that hour if you didn't have to do that mundane task, because maybe, you're really good at connecting and making sales and all those kinds of things. And if you had that extra hour, you might be able to bring in 100, 200, 300, 5,000, like whatever that total is. So when you look at it, you're trying to save yourself $20, but in fact you're losing, because you could be paying someone that $20 and you find someone who really loves doing what it is that you want them to do. And then you can go out and make those hundreds and thousands of dollars in that time.
Absolutely. And those with the growth mindset get that. Like, take it off your plate, take it off, give it to your team, and just start delegating. And that's going to be necessary for the growth. That and tightening up your operations are going to be necessary for the growth of your organization.
Awesome. Well, Jessica, how can people connect with you? I know you have a couple of free things that you offer.
Yeah.
Love to hear about that.
Yeah, you can definitely connect with me at jessicayarbrough.com or on LinkedIn. Just let me know you heard me on the show, and I'll be happy to accept your connection request. And then definitely check out my high-end sales masterclass. It's how to get and close high-paying clients over the phone, and you can check it out. It's a nice value-packed masterclass, which breaks down my method that has literally generated millions of dollars for my clients and I.
And where can they find that?
In the show notes for the masterclass.
Okay. Awesome. And if you're looking to connect with Jessica, that's Yarbrough, Yarbrough. So thank you, Jessica, for being on the show. This has been Kim Thompson-Pinder on the Author to Authority podcast. I encourage you to subscribe. And when you do, pop me off an email at info@rtipublishinghouse.com, and I will have a special free gift for you. So thanks, Jessica, for being on the show. Thank you all for listening. This has been another great podcast. Every time I do these episodes, I learn, and I look forward to seeing you all on the very next episode. Have a great day, everyone.